What's up, Battletech fans? Welcome back to the road as we head off in a familiar direction one more time on a northwestern trek, blowing our way through many familiar roads from the past, as well as making a new stop in the Evergreen State. After checking out the local hobby shop in Bremerton, Washington, we paid our respects to the legendary Black Watch by Puget Sound near Gorst Flats before finding ourselves back in Southern California for StrategiCon's mid-year event, GameX. The StrategiCon family of events hosts 3 shows a year at the fabulous LAX Hilton just outside of Hollywood, and thus far, I'd only had the pleasure to be at the first and last events of the year in 2022. Knocking GameX off my list was definitely a priority, and how could I resist when they made me a special guest for the second time? How cool is that? As a 2-time special guest, I wanted to go all out, and you'll see the fruits of that labor here. Good morning, Battletech fans. Here we are once again at the LAX Hilton, Los Angeles, California for StrategiCon's mid-year event, GameX of 2023. It's about to be a gaming convention weekend filled with nothing but board games, card games, video games, any kind of game you can shake a stick at, we got it going on downstairs. And I'm very excited to be shooting the Season 3 Encore episode tomorrow night, Raiders of the Lost Art. But first, it's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for Legends, baby! So let's get on downstairs and find out just what kind of carnage awaits us on the tabletop. On Friday, it was up and at 'em bright and early for Battletech Legends. For GameX, I wanted to create a new spin on the classic grinder format, with elements that would attract both longtime players and new players alike. Played on a smaller map sheet, Legends drops players right into the action immediately as they take on the role of one of several legendary pilots of either the clans or the Inner Sphere. The grinder element remains intact, but with such low gunnery and piloting skills, hits are frequent and catastrophic failure is rare. This extends extra playability to new players while still keeping the interest of the longtime fans. This is another one of those times where I was afraid that I wouldn't have too many joiners due to my decision to run classic Battletech this year over Alpha Strike. But one of my favorite things about any StrategiCon event is that this fear is almost immediately relieved, as curious passers-by stop to see what's going on and are pulled in. It didn't hurt that we had lots of prizes to give away this time either. And because there was so many cool prizes we had to give away, I ran this whole thing like a game show, y'all. Anytime anybody got a cool kill in, bam, they were getting thrown a miniature. Anytime anybody got a cool action in, bam, they were getting thrown a set of dice. You got a great shot in, boom, here comes a force pack at you. I had buzzers, I had sound effects, I had everything. It was so much fun. I had just enough time to check out the vendor hall once the game was over, and GameX did not disappoint. I was glad to see some of my old favorites returning as well, like their late night and overnight gaming, as well as the vendor swap meet scheduled for Saturday. Hey, I'm late for the meet and greet!
Have you seen Sovereign Chess before? You interested in a 90-second demo? Are you interested in a 90-second demo?
Sure.
Okay, you recording this?
Yeah, I'm recording it.
90 seconds, here we go. Sovereign Chess is like regular chess. One person's white, one person's black. All the pieces are the regular set of chess pieces. They all move just like regular chess with a few tiny variations. Pieces can never land on a square that's the same color. That's a gameplay rule we have. All of the range pieces, like the rooks, the bishops, and the queens, they can only go up to 8 squares on a given move because that's the size of a regular chessboard. Pawns move forward. They can also move sideways toward these brown lines. Since there are pawns all around the board, they're going to move into the center of the board. When a pawn gets into this black 4x4 square, it promotes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Now, there are pieces of other colors all around the side of the board. Those pieces at the beginning of the game, they don't move, they can't be captured, they don't do anything until someone moves a piece onto a colored square. When you move a piece onto a colored square, then you can control those pieces, and whoever's your opponent can now capture those pieces. If you move off of the square, you don't control them anymore, and nobody can capture them. They go back to being statues again. There are 2 squares of every color, but only one person can control at a time. So if one square is occupied, the other square cannot be occupied. If you're playing white and you control red and I want to control red, I can either try to take your piece on that square, or I can try to force you off of it, and then I can move on to the other square of that color in order to control red. You can control multiple armies with multiple pieces. Doesn't matter what pieces you have. They'll control colored armies there. If you have red, you can bring out red to control dark blue. You can bring out dark blue to control orange. That's called a chain of control. The tricky part is, if I'm able to capture this piece on the red square, then I would control red and dark blue and orange all at once. That is 90% of the game of Sovereign Chess in about 90 seconds.
Right on, man. That's pretty cool.
Mark Bates, creator of the game, sovereignchess.com.
This is called Escape Death Race 2182 Micro.
Nice.
Placing race card themed dungeon crawl.
Death race for the win, man. Yeah.
Everything here except
Frankenstein.
the mat. This all fits in this mint tin, except the mat, of course.
Oh, okay. That's pretty neat.
GoodDaysGames.com.
Games. What?
Good Days Games.
GoodDaysGames.com.
Yes. And we have a comic book candy juice on the Kickstarter over there. There's a QR code if you want to follow along.
Heck yeah, man. That's pretty cool stuff, man.
In a world where racers die on the daily. Kamizuka.
In a world where corrupt government has forced prisoners to race for profit.
Pretty accurate. Yes. Also, there's the kingpins. Vigilantes must rise.
Awesome, man. So what was that website again?
GoodDaysGames.com.
GoodDaysGames.com. For the win. Howdy. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good. Have you had a chance to play our game Craft Book?
No, I have not had a chance to play this. Give me a synopsis about this game.
So it's kind of like, the goal is to get rid of all the cards in your hand, but there's a bit more strategy involved and a lot more crabs, of course. So we have 2 discard piles. One is the standard discard and one is our joker pile. And so the deck goes in the center. And on the regular, everyone starts with 7 cards. On the regular discard, you're trying to match, just like in Uno. So on this card, you try to either match a jack or a spade. So color or number. So I could actually play a spade of hearts on that. And then, let's see. Let's say someone played another jack on there. You could play a 5 of clubs on top of there. And if you were to start your turn on a 5 of clubs, you could actually ascend into all of the remaining clubs in your hand. So you could even play a king on top of that. So you could play a 5 and then a king in one turn. So that's what this little symbol here means. And then on the other side, we have the joker pile. This is where things get interesting. I'm going to take this king off for a sec, because jacks, queens, and kings, they block jokers. So I'm going to take that off. Just
Everything blocks jokers today. What's up with that?
And so the jokers, there's 22 in the deck, and they're all unique. One of them is the samurai crab, the hermit crab, the ghost crab, the arrow crab.
Batman put you up to this, didn't he?
So they all have special effects that either help you get closer to winning or make your opponents further away from winning. And so that's just a game. It's like 10 to 15 minutes. It's a great party game. It's a good warm-up game if you're waiting for your DM to show up. Stuff like that. And that's Crabs and Bucket.
Y'all have a website?
We do have a website. It's jokercrab.com.
Jokercrab.com. Heck yeah, man.
Thanks for stopping by.
What game is this?
Builders of Blankenberg, which is a building and resource management game.
Okay.
You use your silver that you start out in the game with to bid for resources in the bidding phase. You then use those resources to build your plans and structures in the town.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like a world building simulator, but tabletop style.
Yes.
That's actually really cool. And what's it called?
Builders of Blankenberg.
Builders of Blankenberg.
And this is the Cutthroat expansion. It offers a player versus player add-in if you desire that kind of thing.
Cobblestone Games. All right.
This is a failed batch.
Saturday, it was back to the gridiron to play Raiders of the Lost Art. A more classic adventure for the tabletop you'll never find, as Cranston Snord's Irregulars are back in town. On the hunt for a trove of ancient Terran musical instruments and artwork, the family Snord teams up with old friends Deb Hachu and Jake Walmar as they battle the forces of House Merrick. Originally called Amber Surprise, it's a scenario I've only ever won once in my life, and I was looking to create a new memory for GameX. Initially, I was afraid I might have to run the Irregulars against Big Phil, the Gateway Alpha Strike champion from 2022. But suddenly, and as if on cue, fellow mech head Darren Eskandari stepped out of the darkness and onto the tabletop, and I suddenly knew I was in for a spectacle as 2 fellows I consider to be top-tier players hit the grid. We'll have a lot more of this battle for you soon, but enjoy a spoiler-free preview now.
The city
Once the game was over, I had plenty of time to cruise the swap meet to my heart's content, looking for deals, and I even had some time to check out the detailed, large-scale tactical game of Alpha Strike going on just a ways away from my table. As usual, the 40K squad was out in full force, this time with other giant pieces I hadn't seen yet. I'm not sure what you use them for, but I gotta applaud them for all the time, effort, and attention to detail. Alright, well, how am I on my Warhammer 40K praise? Thank you. Sunday, I had a little extra time on my hands before taking up arms against the Comm Guards as the Nova Cats in Darren's Tukayyid game. Once there, we had a father-son team join us almost immediately, with Dad representing the guards and his son rocking the clanners with me. If I recall correctly, we had 6 level 2s versus an approximate point value of clanners for the Cats. My job? Destroy as many spheroids as I could on my way out, with escape being my main priority.
Battletech International, here reporting here for Battleborn. You see Chuck there's in the background, you know, he's getting famous because he's being interviewed by the media. I don't know, maybe this will be good, maybe Battlebound will go to the moon. Let's just hope for good stuff for Battlebound, let's do it.
Wow.
With the Comm Guards distributed amongst all potential escape vectors evenly against the northern edge of the map, my strategy was to render the northeastern force neutral while taking my main column in a northwestern charging action. I figured if I made a not small fraction of the forces have to chase the main column advance to the complete opposite edge of the board, I might be able to rely on terrain and a few sacrificial plays to slow them down enough that I could make good my escape. For the most part, this strategy worked, but it definitely served to keep the game accurate to the lore, as I lost several good units holding up the guards advancing from the northeast. While this delaying action was working itself out, I threw everything I had left toward the vectors that I had planned. The amount of mechs I managed to take down was mind-boggling to me, but this is Alpha Strike, after all. The guards pressed back against us as the stragglers that were left tried to make mincemeat of my cats while we escaped. My final mech, a Warhammer 2C, went down in a blaze of glory to end the scenario. We tallied up the points, and it turned out that I had only missed victory in the scenario by 1 unit. Either escape with 1 more of mine or destroying just 1 more guard, and we'd have inched out just far enough in front to take a victory. At that point, I feel like it's down to a few dice rolls here and there that I didn't land, so I walked away from the whole experience feeling pretty good about it all, considering who I was playing against and everything. The best part for me is knowing we made some good memories with folks that would otherwise not have had the chance, and that's all we strive to do.
Well, sir, I don't know how much value I have in this universe, but I do know that I made a few people happier than they would have been without me, and as long as I know that, I'm as rich as I ever need to be. So I'll catch you on the rebound, your magnitude. Until next week, Nanu, Nanu.
Alright, Battletech fans, we got the car all packed up, but you know what? We ain't done yet, StrategiCon. It's time to head upstairs and do a review of some dice from the Scrapyard Ork. Very oaky, what you say, Triforce?
I think it's very, very oaky. I think we should do it, mate.
Let's go look at it.
Let's go.
What's up, Battletech fans? Here we are on Monday at the mid-year event for StrategiCon. It's GameX of 2023, and I'm sitting right here with one of the head honchos of Battletech International, Mr. Patrick Saul, the Taskmaster himself. Say hello.
Hey, happy Memorial Day, everybody. I hope everybody out there is having a good one. We had lots of fun at this con. It was an honor to have Tuck Davian as our honored guest for StrategiCon. So he is now a repeat offender of the con.
That's right.
And we're having
All three.
We're hoping to have him again in future conventions, and more importantly, the growth of Battletech.
That's right. And speaking of the growth of Battletech, what are we doing here today?
Well, after our fun, we have to thank the people that are quite important to what made everything possible when running our event. So without further ado, I'd like to thank Ares Games, Fortress Games, the Scrapyard Ork from across the pond, and Nip Kitten for giving us sponsorship to make the event very successful, and also Odyssey Games.
That's right. And we've got some dice right here on the table from the Scrapyard Ork, and I only do this because I was just asked the other day by a viewer, hey, what are those dice like? I'd like to pick myself up, so what better time than to review those dice now? What do we got here? First up, we got, looks like some Somerset Strikers dice. These, I was so excited to see those. I went,
with one of the Lance packs on the latest Kickstarter Mercenary just came out. This, I tell you, this is a perfect dice set for you to acquire with the upcoming set. I mean, I'll be honest, I have a set of it.
Boom, shake it, 10 right there,
I got a 10
baby.
just right there. You know, it tells you.
But they made one big mistake. They attacked my home planet. What do we got next? We got Purple Bird Stronk coming up at you, the House Merrick dice. I like the silver on these, though. And these dice, they roll real well, too. There we go, 9. Not bad, not bad.
Yep.
I'll get some close-up shots here for you.
Yep. These dice can be acquired from Scrapyard Orks. They are located in England, and they make very fine dice, not just Battletech and other ones as well. So be sure to check them out.
Another one that was very popular this weekend, the Atlas Head, baby. Everybody liked that one, especially the one kid that came up and played Tukayyid with us yesterday. He was like, give me that one, give me that one.
I mean, the Atlas is the most iconic assault Innisphere assault mech, and you know, to me, when you roll the Atlas Head was on a strike, tells you that you really assaulted somebody.
And especially if you roll boxcars on that thing, you know what that means. Now these, you presented me with these, and I was super excited. I think maybe we had these at the last con, I can't be sure, but Clan Wolf, and I've been seeing these for the longest time, and I'll tell you, I was a diehard Jade Falcon, you know that, but after Paws vs. Claws 2, I kind of, you know, remember being a wolf just a little bit. And then seeing these just made me go, oh, all right, cool. Now I guess I'm an honorary wolf now, an honorary warden. And I love the color on these guys too. 3 versus 4, right arm, all right. I like the gold leafing there, plus it looks like granite almost. Feels like shiny.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And what I guess our next one is
the Great Death Legion.
I mean, kudos that we have them back now in the storyline, you know. So, you know, people that were sad that, oh no, they were gone. Well, guess what? They're back.
They're back. And they're no longer written out via sourcebook.
Yeah, the Legion is back. That's all you gotta do, and get to represent them. Look, we got spanking new dice for them. See how much we can get out of this.
Seven torso,
baby.
Now, I don't know what your affinity is for the Great Death Legion, but I do know your affinity for the Wolf's Dragoons. You saw what the Black Widow did.
Oh, good God.
I'll put that video up on the screen, but I won't take too much more of your time because we got these last two. The Strike Hard, Strike First, No Mercy, baby. The Cobra Kai dice. These are super cool. When you put that in my little thing, my little box of death, I was like, I didn't even know those existed. Those are pretty sweet.
They were one of the dice that you can also acquire from the Scrapyard Ork website. They have several movie dice that you can get there too. But you know, because I was happy to get these ones because I am a big time Cobra Kai fan at the moment. I'm waiting for the next season, assuming there is a next season.
Right.
Well, these are some fantastic dice, folks, and now that I've had a chance to play with them, a chance to get my shots in on the tabletop, I highly recommend the Scrapyard Ork. Very oaky. Get you some dice, eh? But Pat, it's been a fantastic weekend here at StrategiCon, GameX 2023, and thank you so much for inviting me out as a special guest. It's been wonderful, as usual. I will absolutely be back the next time around. Once again, we want to thank our sponsors, Ares Games and Miniatures, Fortress Miniatures and Games, The Scrapyard Ork, and Myth Kitty Minis for throwing me that summoner that made the Legends game exactly what it was. We're sure looking forward to seeing you next time out on the Space Lanes right here on Battlebound!
Be sure to smash our like button and subscribe to our channel.
Crowdfunding is when lots of people give you small amounts of money to help your passion project come to life.